In 3, 2, 1. We are live. All right. Hello, everyone. JM. How are you guys doing today? We have back again with another session of Jaya Talk session. And I would say that today's topic is really one of the most interesting topic and one of the most requested topic of all time. So the first one is how to build community, and second one is basically, um, dear Jaya team, please talk everything, but please invite VCs. We need to hear something from the VC because we are building projects. We are looking for a Web3 landscape information. We'll try to this, we'll try to that. And our community believes that VC's firm is one of the most trusted source of information. So they've always been requesting this kind of topic. So what we brought to you here, we'll be talking about VC secrets, not Victoria's Secret. We'll be talking about careers and capital in Web3, and we'll be exploring the realities of the VC landscape, Web3 landscape, what it means for careers, and how opportunities in Web3 can feel like both inclusive and exclusive at the same time. And it's my pleasure today to introduce you guys to our wonderful speaker, Sarah Abuagela, Head of Investment at Ceras Ventures, which is one of the biggest ventures out there. You guys can check their website, check their portfolios. It's everywhere, trust me. And Sarah has been at the forefront of the Web3 investment, and she's been working with a lot of founders. She's been working with communities, project owners, and everything that. And today she'll be sharing her perspective not only on how VCs are shaping the space, but also on how individuals you can navigate in careers in this evolving industry. And all right, I think I'd like to ask you, Sarah, to introduce yourself also about the Ceras venture so we can get a really bigger picture about what you're doing in the space.
Super. No, thanks so much, Theo, and I'm glad to be part of the session. Yeah, as you mentioned, Ceras Ventures, we're active in the Web3 space. We mainly focus on really use cases that drive mass adoption. That's why we are quite sector agnostic. We are investing from pre-seed round up to Series A round. We have a global mandate, and also in terms of industries within crypto, we're agnostic. We kicked off heavily with infrastructure, then with DeFi, and then we moved over to sectors like RWA, DePIN, consumer-facing applications. We had our face also in gaming, so we really keep it sector agnostic to align with our mission. And majority of our investments are actually in the US and then also Asia. We have a few also in emerging market and Europe. And I'm super excited to decipher more about VC space itself, also give some perspective on Web3.
Great. So this conversation is going to be super hot, guys. You heard from her, and perfect. Thank you for the introduction, Sarah. And I think I would like to also remind of our community. So whenever you have any questions, feel free to put directly on the comment sections. You don't really have to wait for our sessions to basically opening the floor for the Q&A. You can, whenever you would like to ask a question, just put in a comment directly, and later on, when the section is coming, we'll be directly putting it on the live screen. So no worries, we'll try to answer as much as your question as possible. All right, I think without further ado, I would like to jump into the discussions today. So Sarah, VCs is one of the most interested part of the Web3. And when you look at the Web3 right now, what is the biggest shift that you have noticed in how VCs are approaching investment? Are people still actually chasing like the next big thing on the Web3 or maybe the next trending topic? Or do you feel that investors are becoming like more selective these days when it comes to the investment?
Yeah, no, that's a very important question. And before I kick off, definitely gonna say no financial advice, what I'm saying here. So it's just my own personal opinion. But to your question, the biggest shift I actually seen how VCs approaching the space is discipline, because in the early hype cycles, we've seen there was the NFT cycle, we had recently meme tokens, and now investors are indeed much more selective. It's really less about FOMO, but more about fundamentals. And what I'm what I mean by that is the way how they select. It's if you look even at due diligence processes, it's really strong teams, clear business models, and technology that really solves problems. And that's why Web3 is maturing, and so is also the capital that fuels it. And an interesting thing that I would love to share here, the VC landscape has shifted, and some of you who are may founders in the audience may relate to that, especially if it comes, for instance, for token investing, right? It's if you raise in tokens, back then it was a very common case that at TGE there was no lockup periods, and now founders became also more cautious to really safeguard their project. So what we see also as VCs that there are more lockup periods. Also another part is, besides direct investing from VCs, there's a higher trend also of liquid funds. So not only investing in primary markets, but also secondary markets. So especially in the last 1.5 years, you see more liquid fund arms besides the traditional Web3 VC arm. So this is an interesting thing where it reflects, again, the volatility of our market, since we have sometimes the cycles where we have less liquidity, right? So that's where liquid funds sees a high opportunity as well. So there have been I would say more adjustments from VC side, but also reacting also on founder side, like how founders are fundraising, what type of sectors are now fundraising. So I think it's a parallel shift from both VCs and projects.
I see. So that's really cool. So it's not like a simple process. It actually requires like long analysis to actually dive into the market. And one thing that I noticed that you mentioned that right now is no longer about FOMO. It's more about looking the actual, not only the projects, not only the trend, but also the founders. So that is an interesting thing that I'll say, because when we talk about founders, we oftenly not looking it from a person perspective, and a lot of founders have their own experience. It's either building projects or maybe on their professional career experience. And talking about the careers experience from your perspective as a VC firm, if someone is trying to actually build a career in Web3, especially to become one of the founders later on, because they need to basically gather a lot of experience to be a founder. What qualities or maybe skills that you think could make a person stand out to be a founder later on?
I think, even it doesn't matter if it's a career in Web3 or later on in a VC firm, or if you decide to build your own, is 3 things: adaptability, resilience, and curiosity. Why? Because we know Web3 is evolving constantly. Our markets are always changing. There are always new developments in the industry that impacts other sectors. So I think being always up to date is the key things, and also to stay curious, to really keep learning, to adapt new industries to new knowledge in the space. And it doesn't matter if it's that knowledge relates to tokenomics, to regulations, right, who keep evolving, to AI or crypto innovations coming into the space. So really being there, up to date, staying curious. And another part is also contribution. I mean, the ones who really build, connects, engage in communities, they show that they are not there as a spectators, right? They really play and want to be engaged in shaping the space. So I think these are core skills, what I have seen in founders that I met so far, also in my colleagues, in my VC environment as well. Really being adaptive, being resilient, and really stay curious. I think these are the core skills, I would say.
I see. So never stop asking why. Basically, will be the main foundation, and also to basically build a lot of positive reputation in this space, because I think that Web3, I mean, it's a big communities, right, globally, but sometimes it feels like a small world in Web3. Like you can almost find the same person, even though with a different type of project background, but it's the same person. And would you agree if I um, news spread faster in Web3 compared to the Web2?
Definitely. I mean, let's be honest, X can be brutal sometimes. So
Yeah.
whatever comes out is out there. And I think even it doesn't matter if it's for launches, scandals, news. That's I think that's the beauty, but can be also a curse for some people that our space is very transparent, right? So
Yes.
that's why another part is if you develop your career and your skill set, it's so important also to connect with the right people, right? I say it and see it often on conferences. We all have been to multiple conferences. Really connect with people who align with your values, with your business purpose, and keep engaging in this relationship. Like keep connecting with them, be part of the communities, be involved, because this gives you more credibility. You're always also up to date, and that's what I found beautiful in our space. We have such a strong community sense that don't
Okay.
exist in other tech spaces, in my opinion. And so it doesn't matter in which niche you are in within the crypto sector. It doesn't matter if you're in the NFT space, in the meme space, and you're part of stable coins, your team institutions, like you have your communities there. And I think being part of them and engaging as much as possible is really good.
I see. I completely agree with that. Actually, I cannot be more agree because this kind of community is it's like so strong. Like sometimes it feels like a heartbreak because a project succeed is also depends on their communities as well because it's so effective. Like yeah, and continue to one of my concern in the space. I'd like to ask you. So you've mentioned that Ceras Venture is also jumping into like starts observing about RWA sectors. So it's not only about like we remember back then we had like GameFi, we had then like meme coin or maybe layer one, layer two, and the trend is keep moving forwards. And finally, Web3 has gone through like waves like DeFi, NFTs, and even memes. And from your perspective, I'd like to know what emerging areas should founders and talent start positioning themselves and in if they want to be ahead of the curve for the next big thing. Because I know Web3 trends cannot be predicted, but do you have like specific signals or maybe things that could maybe give us some little bit of hint of how to position ourselves.
Yeah, though that's a important thing. I think in my perspective, there are four big areas where I'm tapping to personally, also work-wise, is for one hand tokenized real-world asset, decentralized infrastructure, stable coins, and also how AI can actually improve our existing Web3 solutions as well. So if we talk about tokenized RWA, what we all can agree on, it didn't reach mainstream fully yet, but all the institutions are already tapping into RWAs, right? I mean, we
Yep, sure.
saw this recently, NASDAQ announced they want to tokenize stocks. We already had like big firms like BlackRock tokenizing funds. We have in different regions already tokenizing different tangible assets. It doesn't matter if it's gold, if it's collectibles, if it's real estate. So that sector specifically can really bridge traditional finance and industries with Web3. So that's something to look into for sure. And one key point I want to highlight with RWAs, it's still for a lot of for most people who are not deeply in it or who are not even crypto native, it's still confusing. So I think being also their kind of ambassador or part of translating it to others is a big opportunity as well. So RW's a space for sure. And another one is also infrastructure, everything that improves again scalability, privacy, security. This is something where we have already existing L1s on hand. So I think that will be still a key. Stablecoin, why I'm mentioning stablecoin, if we talk about real impact, right?
Yep.
Stablecoin was the reason why I tapped personally into crypto. I heard, I will tell you the story. I had back then friends. They live in high. I'm still friends with them. They live in high inflationary countries. Like Turkey, Lebanon, and they told me back then they put everything out of the banks and put it into stable coins. And up till now, they saved really their family wealth, not only from themselves, also from their extended families, and really were that was for me an ideal use case of decentralization, real impact in different economies. So stablecoin goes even now this year in a much higher level, especially with regulations coming from US with Genius Act, from Europe, and also in emerging markets. So I think it's good to keep a closer look also on stablecoin, as it's already running a great show this year, I would say. And last but not least, also, the combination of AI and, of course, crypto. I mean, as we know, AI agents has been already coming into our sector, and with different use cases. Doesn't matter if it's for trading or other applications. And I think these 4 areas would be the ones which will definitely shape our sector more.
Completely agree on that take. Yeah, because when the new trends start invading Web3, especially for us, the community, sometimes we try to put aside the research. We often hear more from our friends or maybe from the other community, like, hey, you should check this out. This is my referral, but you should check this out. This is like a really cool project. And that is a simple trigger for us to actually learning about something new in Web3. And stablecoin is actually the reason why I actually jump into the Web3 as well, because so there's a case when I go abroad. So I went to Singapore back then, and to meet one of my friends, and I forgot to actually exchange my currency to the Singaporean dollar, and we tried to actually buy shoes there. So we tried to have some little business about the shoes, and when I tried to buy one, and I don't actually have enough money to buy one. I don't have a credit card as well. It's been limited because it was left out in my country, and the seller is actually told me that, do you have crypto? I said that at that time I thought that crypto is actually like Bitcoin. So I say I don't have any Bitcoin, and he mentioned no, it's not only Bitcoin. You can easily buy a USDT or USDC. And then I tried to ask my friends how I can buy this. And my friend in Indonesia, he bought me. So I created the account, right? I created the exchange account. My friends bought it on Indonesia. He sent me within minutes, and it directly transferred to my account. And I sent it to the seller, and it was so simple. I was like, oh my god, this should be the currency that we all be using, because this is the breakthrough, everyone. Look how simple it is. So yep, I completely agree with the stable coins.
And it's honestly, this is some of the key reasons I pitch to my non-crypto friends or people I meet. Like this, there's really substance behind it. Even what you just explained. Also, I have friends in Nigeria. Instead of relying on their local currency, they also use stable coins. The same in Latam, right? So I think that's why the sector I love to highlight it as an example to others, that it has a real impact in specific economies. So yeah, super great example.
True, true. All right. So, I think now we can start to open the floor for the questions coming from our community. Let me check. So, how many we have now? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Guys, chill. 10. Okay, we have 11 in total. So 11 questions on YouTube, 15 on Telegram, DM, and also 5 on our groups. So it's above 20. It will take forever, but we try to answer some of the most unique questions so far. And let me see, we have 200 viewers, 240 viewers right now. And let's start from the first questions. Okay, first one is from the Crypto Fader. So this is the questions. Hey, how can early stage Web3 founders build credibility with investor if they don't yet have big partnership or metrics?
Yeah, for that, for early stage Web3 founders, first engage in communities. Also, as you know, like if you go to conferences and visit and mingle to establish there your network, I truly believe in the power of networking here. And also, even if you don't have yet big partnerships, try to see within your network who can give you great warm introductions to investors or to partners. Doesn't matter if it's like other L1s or specific applications where you want to partner up with. So I think power of networking here is the key, to do it either with your existing network or to expand it and be more engaged with community. So it gives you personal it pushes your personal branding as a founder, and it also gives you more value add to expand your network. So that would be my advice.
I see. All right, amazing. And hope that answer your questions, Crypto Fader. All right, jumping on to the next question. It's coming from Artaz. So Artaz is actually one of our business developer community. And he's asking, how can founders better understand the mindset of VCs to build stronger long-term relationship, not just funding deals? Oh, interesting.
Okay, no, I like this question because maybe I can give more clarity on also how Web3 VCs function. Because
Yep.
besides funding deals, most of, especially in Web3, have their own research, either their team and their area. So VCs, they always want to be also ahead of the curve. And to keep in mind, on the one side, you deal with a VC who is deeply involved in research, and also is interested in how they can support you as a founder. So I give an example of two types of investors. You have the active and the passive investor. Ideally, you want to get a sort of active investor who can give you strategic value. So besides only funding you financially, it would be great to have either VC or angel investor who give you and value add in terms of their network, in terms of advisory, additional support if it comes to, if you're early stage, if you need additional support on tokenomics, go to market, if you later deal with KOLs. So try to, if you're in a pitch call, try to highlight what type of investor you're looking at, because this is how you strengthen your value and your worth as well as a project and founder. So looking for like valuable investors and challenging them as well at the end of a pitch, like this would be something you can stand out as well.
Interesting, interesting. Guys, just a little bit of fact from a founder's perspective. So I used to pitch to one of the VCs, and one thing that I would like to tell you guys is like start practicing your pitch, because sometimes you only have one chance, and when you try to pitch your deck, sometimes the nervous is like the feeling, and sometimes the words that you've been practicing for is actually start to blank. So try to do as best as you could for practicing, because VCs are really busy, guys. So whenever you have one opportunity, that could be the last time you see the VC. So try to utilize the moment. All right. Next, we have questions from the Amois official. So, what red flags immediately turn you away from investing in a Web3 project, no matter how exciting it looks? Oh, I actually curious about this one as well.
Yes. So, okay, number one for sure is false information. Also, while screening pitch decks or being in pitch calls, having wrong information in there. For instance, VCs can quickly do a due diligence check on the whole team. So sometimes there's inconsistency of team members mentioned, and you check LinkedIn or the web and you see like different pictures. So this is something I saw it more often, to be honest. Also, another red flag if they don't have a clear roadmap, but so they have to have a vision where they want to be in the next at least 1 year, 2 years, so to have a clear maybe existing traction but also the next steps, because this gives me confidence as an investor. Okay, the founder and the team, they know what they're doing. So false information, also not having a clear pathway. Also for specific, let's say if it comes to DeFi projects where security plays a big role, also having the right audits and being proper regulated. This would be also a third one that comes straight to my mind.
I see. All right, so false informations and make sure you have a really solid team. So because that decides everything. Make sure you guys are doing. All right, so moving on to our next questions. It's coming from the AJA Crypto. So when pitching to VCs, what are the most common mistakes you see from a Web3 founders?
Yeah, one is, okay, besides if they're false information, not really communicating or explaining really the value add of the project. So what are you trying really to solve and how you differentiate yourself? And do you really did enough research? So I think that's also a thing that each team needs to define who's representing the project in terms of pitching. Because as you said, some are maybe not feeling comfortable, right, in presenting or pitching. We see it often in tech-heavy teams. It's really having the right person and spokesman as well to provide the message to the VCs. Another thing is the way of pitching. This is also an important point I want to highlight here. There are different ways of pitching. You can have a scheduled call. This is, of course, the ideal scheduled call, in-person meeting. But if it comes to cold pitching, there's something, especially on conferences. You need to read again. Is it the right time now to pitch or to connect later? Because I had, for instance, the situation where someone followed me to the restroom and waited to pitch. It's like really random things, you know. Make sure if it's a cold pitch, it should be natural, or you wait for the right moment, or connect later on with the VC to schedule a proper call. Because again, among conferences, it's very hectic. So that's something I can also add as an example.
I see. So pitching in the bathroom is like literally cold pitch. So
yeah, this is a weird pitch. Yeah.
Know your place, everyone. All right. We'll be answering 2 more questions, I guess. Okay. Okay, this has been answered during our discussion. And next one, okay, this I think could be an interesting question. So, question coming from the C Hype Dev. So, is VC sometimes also helping project and looking for team member or CFO? I think.
Yes, indeed. Depending really on the relationship you build already on the VC, and also if you're, for instance, very early stage, there are hands-on VCs who can support in that if it comes to talents, because that's again having the right and strategic investor and board. They will support with their network, with their support. So that's something I also saw in the past.
I see, amazing. Because I also see some of the job opportunities on the VC side. Sometimes they have like career side for the portfolio. It's good. All right, moving on to, I think, one last question coming from the Hustle production. So the question is, in your view, what separates a good pitch from a memorable pitch in Web3 fundraising?
Um, I think this goes back on when you pitch, can you connect immediately with the audience? Let's say if you have to catch them with an opening, like this is we are all humans, right? We all
Yeah.
caught up with a very something with attention that gives us attention. So I think catching them with a good pitch line at the beginning and also the highlighting why your project is so important and also I still have great memories of some pitch decks and calls where they did also research about what we are doing and also try to have some links how
Mhm.
what we let's say our existing portfolio they came up with ideas we can support and collaborate with your existing portfolio. So those things I'm like wow they did like extra homework on that. So but catching really first the investor
Mhm.
with your what you're trying to solve and then giving them like more golden nuggets, like oh we did the homework, we researched about your
Okay.
VC and what you're doing. So that would be some aspects, yeah.
Okay, guys, do your homework, everyone. That will be one of the message of this conversations. All right, and okay, so I think we have answers. We've answered a lot of questions, and before we actually wrap up, we have like a culture in these Jaya talks. So
Mm.
every session, we did a vote right before the session with our communities to actually ask our speaker a mystery question. So
Ooh.
this question is different. Every speaker will receive a different type of questions, and all of the questions has been curated and also voted directly from our community. So it's 100% organic, I'll say. And
Nice.
let me check the voting result for today in our forum. Okay, so just to give a little bit of background. So before we did the phone, we always give our communities the background from the company and also the speakers, so we can actually ask pretty related questions from the background, even though sometimes it's just like a random questions. Okay, so the mystery question for you, Sarah. According to our 1,300 communities with 80 people voted, so the question is, if you have like if you finish all of this professional career in Web3 and you would like to be like an angel investor, and after like you finish all of these Web3 spaces, you have three options to actually invest your money. Which one would you prefer to invest? First one, a zoo. Second one, is okay, or a food and beverage business or a restaurant.
Mm.
Or the third one, amusement park. Which one would you pick and why?
Oh, okay. I think I'm also I'm a foodie, so the food and
Okay.
beverage was catchy, but I think amusement park would be something more special because I
Okay.
love adrenaline, I love action, and I think it's always nice, when you feel again like a child. So an amusement park to have fun, yeah. So if I would retire, I would choose an amusement park, and yeah, depending on a location, I think later on I would love to retire in a more exotic location. So setting up there an amusement park, bringing in kids, families, and all the adults who want to feel like kids again. I think that would be nice.
So, would you still considering about the profit or maybe the ROI of the amusement park, or it's just like pure for fun?
For fun, and I would make sure. Okay, yeah, this was more on the fun side, the selection, of course. Yeah, for the ROI, I would say I would make sure that I have the right team,
Okay.
the right theme of the park to have the right go to market and yeah to get their funding or fund it myself. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Thank you very much. Guys, that is the question that you guys is waiting for. So amusement park, It is. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our today's session. Sarah, thank you so much for sharing so much insights and secrets, also perspective from your experience, also from the VC landscape, and also some advices that you gave us from building careers in Web3. Other than that, I'd like to also thank you to all of our talents, especially for everyone who tuned in to Jaya Talks today. For our 238 viewers, don't forget to subscribe if you don't, so you don't miss any future episode. And if you think that this episode is relate from your journey or maybe your friends, feel free to share it. Otherwise, and Sarah, again, thank you very much. Do you have before we close the session? Do you have any last advice for our community or maybe for the viewers?
Yeah, I also want to say thanks. It was really a pleasure. I love the question. I mean, we can go on and on. There's so many aspects to talk about, but really loved being here also with you, Theo. And all I can say, it doesn't matter if you're a founder, if you're looking also for a job in Web3 in a specific space, keep building, be resilient, and as long as you keep believing in yourself and stay consistent, then good things will unfold. So that's my takeaway message I would like to share.
Amazing. All right, guys, thank you very much, everyone. Until next time, stay living, stay breathing, and stay building. I'm Theo, and see you soon. Also, take care. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye. Thank you,
Thank you.
Sarah. Been
Thank
another
you.
today. See you. Thank you very much.